there, and welcome to a very special vlog. I am trying to catch up on all of the 2021 challenges that I have set for myself, and so in this vlog we are going to be reading 3 of my 5-star predictions. The first one, which I have already started, is For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. This follows a teacher at an elite private school who is bad, maybe? I'll talk about it in a second, but anyway, that's the first book. The second book is Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessl. This is a Groundhog Day scenario. I truly know nothing more than that, and it's definitely going to be 5 stars. The third one is a little bit up in the air still, but I think we're going to be reading Anxious People by Fredrik Backman, about a robbery and a hostage situation. Who knows? I will let you know once we get into it. But I have already gotten into For Your Own Good, so let's talk about my thoughts on that. I'm about a third of the way through now. The writing for it is a big standout. I think the characters are all really unique. We're getting perspectives from 3 different people right now, which I wasn't expecting. We're getting Teddy, who is the principal mentioned in the description. No, he's not a principal, he's a teacher. I don't know why I keep doing that. He's a teacher. It's also a high school, which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting this to be set in college, but that's probably my bad. It's also following another teacher and one of the students, which I really like. I really like how they're all tying together, and I feel like if we were just focusing on Teddy, maybe it would get a bit dull. Not that that can't work, I just think it's really working having multiple perspectives in this scenario. Teddy's also not quite as evil as I was expecting. I was kind of thinking of They Never Learn when going into this, where this opens with the main character, who is a professor, killing someone. Teddy isn't quite that far. He's just kind of mad that there are entitled rich kids and parents in his vicinity, which, like, yeah, who wouldn't be? But he's more like petulant. I don't know if that's the right word. He's just kind of a bit pretentious and wants things the way that he wants them, which is an interesting angle for it to go. I don't know where it's going to go from here, but so far so good. I'm really enjoying it. It's not the vibe I was expecting from it, but I'm actually really enjoying it. But anyway, that's the vlog. Let's get the show on the road. Hi, it's the next day, and we just went for a walk/hike. It wasn't hard. Does it still count as a hike? There were lots of big trees. Anyway, that's why this is happening. I will shower, I promise, but not before I update you on the book. I am 63% of the way through For Your Own Good, and I really can't talk about what's happening. It's all spoilers all the time. I think I can say someone has died, which was nice. I was a little worried that it would be a bit too tame, but then someone died, and there are some very interesting things happening with that, but everything is like built on everything else, and you're getting backstory for why things happened, and I am really enjoying it, but I'm not quite sure if I'm getting a 5-star feeling, though I might give it 5 stars like for quality rather than for like personal love. I don't view every 5-star as a favorite. I think some books are just like, this deserves a 5, and favorites are something beyond 5, and I don't really distinguish. This book couldn't have done anything differently to make me love it more. The only thing I do keep coming back to is I kind of wish it was more like They Never Learn, but that's not the book's fault. Just read They Never Learn. It's very good. So I'm likely gonna finish it tonight. I did also manage to get the audiobooks for the other 2 books from my library today, so thank goodness, because I have quite a heavy TBR this month, so that'll definitely help me out. I am not going to be able to tell you much about this book, but I am really enjoying it. It's a 4 or a 5 at this point. Quick update, because I forgot to mention that the main character, Teddy, the teacher, is obsessed with milk. He's like rewarding himself at the end of the day with a glass of milk, and he goes to this special store to get his milk, and there's something about the milk. I don't know if it'll come up later as something, but like they're mentioning it so often, and it's so weird, and it feels like it has to be a reference to something. I truly don't know, but like this damn milk is driving me a little bit insane. I have so many questions. Why milk? Of all the things. Anyway, another thing I wanted to mention was right near the beginning of the book, someone throws up out of nowhere and some people are trying to figure out what's wrong with them, and some are like, maybe it's COVID, and they like determine it's not. But it's so weird to have like an intersection where COVID exists but the school doesn't go on lockdown at any point. It's very strange how you can have that intersection. I totally understand why the author did it, but it also makes me wonder, like, when did she start writing this? Was this finished in January of 2020 when we all like knew about COVID but didn't think it was going to be a big deal? I have many questions. This has now just become a series of clips where you see my hair dry. And I have finished For Your Own Good, For Their Own Good by Samantha Downing, and I have to think about it. There's just so much that happens in the book, and I feel like maybe I read it too fast just to like soak in all of the things that are explained but then like get twisted and reveals are happening, and I just feel like I need a minute to wrap my brain around it. That being said, I'm gonna give it 5 stars. I think it is an exceptionally well-crafted book. Not quite as thrillery as I might have wanted, but so smart and such interesting characters and some interesting things to say. I really enjoyed it. I know I keep mentioning They Never Learn, so last time I do it, I swear, because I think one thing that I really liked about this was it was set in college, and For Your Own Good was set in high school, and I think I hate books set in high school. Not with like teen characters, but like anytime there's a scene in a high school, I hate it. Who knows why, but I read another book recently that was mainly set at a school, and I just really didn't enjoy it. So I feel like if it had been set in college, we could have done more things, but also it would have been an entirely different book. Sorry I can't say more about this because basically everything is a spoiler. There's so much that happens in it. Like, just going back thinking like, how did we get here? And it's like 18 steps of reveals and twists and stuff. And it's kind of wild. Definitely not like a psychological thriller or anything like that. Closer to a mystery than a thriller. So even if it sounds like I'm disparaging the book a bit, I am still gonna give it 5 stars because I think it's just that good. I'm very happy. It also, in reading it, reminded me a lot of My Lovely Wife. Though My Lovely Wife did some dark stuff, and this didn't go anywhere near that. One of the issues with My Lovely Wife was it was from a single perspective, and this was from multiple perspectives. More get introduced throughout the book, so I can't say how many, but that it was a really strong aspect of this book. I think I gave My Lovely Wife 4 stars, and I'm giving this one 5 stars. If you could just mash them together, oh, it'd be so good. Not mentioning it, this is totally innocent. Anyway, that one out of the way, I think I'm going to start my next book. That book is going to be Neverworld by Marisha Pessl. It's not that long. It's 320 pages, but it has fairly big font, like it's YA, so I don't anticipate this taking me very long. And I'm happy that a 5-star prediction was a 5-star prediction, so don't let me down, Neverworld. I am counting on you and your beautiful cover. Oh, and your dust jacket. What is this? Will you be able to see this? Kind of. It says 11.2 hours, 672 minutes with a clock design. It's very Dharma Initiative from Lost. That's the vibe I'm getting, which, ooh, if that's what I'm getting from this, I am so down for that. I really should try to give this break. Like I was just saying, I need some time for Your Own Good to sink into my brain, but then they hit me with some Dharma Initiative, and I've already caught up on Love Island, so like reading's all I got right now. I have just finished chapter 2 of Neverworld Wake, and I love it so much. I love the writing in it. The story's really getting me. Like, I have a really good feeling about this one. I am just about 1/3 of the way through Neverworld Wake. I just hit part 2, and I love it so much. I am absolutely obsessed with this book. The thing I keep coming back to is this feels like The Midnight Library meets the 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. That is the vibe of this, which is immaculate. It's about a whole group of friends who are stuck in purgatory, and now there's a mystery. I love the characters, I love the writing, I love how dark it's getting. I love books that have a focus on death, complicated questions around morality or mortality, and this has all of it, and I just love it so much. I'm hoping to get halfway through tonight, but I also might just stay here all night and finish it in one go. It's just that good. I know it looks like I never leave this chair, but I do, I swear, just not as often as I maybe should. I made it all the way to part 3 last night, and I'm just loving it so much. I was worried when I was still in part 1 what the rest of the book would be. It just felt like there was a very clear plot line that we were going to follow, of just Groundhog Day in it, and I didn't think that could be sustained for another 200 pages. And then part 2 was like, you're right, let's do something totally different, totally take a new spin on it, and it's going to be equally amazing. And then part 3 was like, you thought that was cool, well, we're going to start doing this whole other thing. I'm just so impressed with it. I'm so happy. It's one of the best things I've read. It's just so tailor-made for me. I am just obsessed with it, and I'm still scared that it's gonna be bad. And also, like, the implication of this is like, it can't end happily. It can end non-sadly, but it can't end happily, and I'm very interested for what it's gonna do. Hi, me again. I went and did another activity and forgot to have any b-roll. I had a pedicure this afternoon and it was lovely. It takes a while to get over people touching your feet. That's extremely uncomfortable, but then eventually it's lovely and wonderful. Speaking of lovely and wonderful, Neverworld Wake. I'm about 50 pages from the end. I love it. I love it. I'm so scared that the ending is gonna suck and then I'm gonna be sad. But hopefully that doesn't happen. I will update you in 50 pages. Okay, I've had a minute to think about it and calm down and try to come up with what I want to say, but it's hard because there's not a lot that I can say that isn't a spoiler, but you have to read this book. It's incredible. It only has a 3.77 on Goodreads, which is like a crime. It's a crime. Anyone who didn't rate this 5 stars, you did a crime. You owe Marisha Pessl an apology. This book feels like it shouldn't exist. The fact that someone came up with this is too good to be true. It just doesn't make any sense how she can weave all of these disparate ideas together and make the narrative good and heartfelt and smart. And oh wow, 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 wow. Let's talk about the negatives, because there are a couple. First, that it's YA. I think this would have been better for me if it wasn't YA. It is old YA, so it's close, and it does get like pretty dark. There are some dark topics handled. Be forewarned, this is not a book for the faint of heart, but I think the language sort of was less mature, and if it had been adulted up, that would have been good. Second, the main character B, she's kind of boring. She doesn't have a lot to her. She's fine, she's not bad, but I wanted more from her. And third is I didn't cry, which is not a problem, except that I cry all the time, and I am debating if this is my favorite book ever, which is a really bold statement, but I think the fact that I didn't cry means it can't be, especially when I cry so often, and I feel like the ending was kind of pushing for that, and it just didn't get me. But there's not a second of time in this book that is wasted. It's so good. It's a favorite. Don't get me wrong, it is like top 5 probably books that I've ever read, but it's not top 2. This video is going too well. Clearly Anxious People is gonna be like a 1-star book. They can't all be good, right? None of my other 5-star predictions have been this good so far. If I'm trying to sell you on Neverworld Wake, I think what I had said earlier, that it's The Midnight Library by Matt Haig meets The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. Right at the end there, we got a little bit House of Leavesy, I almost want to say. That was sort of the vibe I was getting. Plus, of course, Groundhog Day, the classic. Kind of Sadie vibes. That's sort of like the tone of it. It's not as dark as Sadie. Nothing will ever be as dark as Sadie, but that's kind of the vibe. Are you not sold? Have you not already like placed an order? Please go to your local bookstore and buy Neverworld Wake. I thought that I would like this book, but I had no idea it was gonna swing for the fences. For the fences like next door. The next town over. I kind of want to read it again. I do wish the writing had been a little bit stronger. Just a little bit more. Maybe longer? Maybe longer would have helped because it's only 320 pages, but pretty big font. Maybe more pages would have helped explore some more stuff. I'm tired. I feel like that took it out of me. Wow. Okay, well, that's Neverworld Wake. It's 5 stars. Did I say that? It's 5 stars. Okay, I'm gonna start Anxious People at some point once I've recovered. I'll check in with you then. I'm regretting saying that I would film each book in a new place because I'm running out of places. So now we're in the dining room. This is what you get. I just started Anxious People. I literally just read the dedication and I'm already in love with this book. It says, "This book is dedicated to the voices in my head, the most remarkable of my friends, and to my wife, who lives with us." It's perfect. We might be able to go 5 for 5. I'll let you know once I've read any of the actual story. So I just finished chapter 1. They're very short chapters, so it's like 5 pages. And I love it. I love Fredrik Backman's writing style. The only thing I've read of his before this was Beartown, which is obviously a very different tone from this, but you can just tell like the level of care that he puts into it. I should also note, so this will have been translated then because Beartown was translated from Swedish. That sounds right. That the translator should get some credit in here too because the writing is just stellar, and it's just the perfect level of comedic too, where it's like more serious in tone and like not trying to be funny but ends up being really funny. It's really good. Hopefully I won't update you every chapter because I just checked and there are 74 of them and this video can't be 4 hours long. Hi, did you miss me? Probably not. It's been 5 seconds, but it's been most of a day for me. It was a lovely day. We went out for lunch. We went to the bookstore and I picked up a book. This is Tokyo Ever After, and I heard this described as Princess Diaries, but Japanese, and I love it. I'm very excited to get to this. But I also, babe? No. But I also just got to a third of the way through Anxious People and it's so good. The thing I will say is I'm really enjoying doing it both eyeballs and earballs because I think the writing style is very repetitive in an intentional way. It's doing this thing where it's like, this is a story about a bank robbery, and then a couple chapters later it'll be like, this is a story about a hostage situation, and then a couple chapters later this will be a story about something completely different. So it is intentional, but wears on you a little bit. So I think the audiobook is really helping me to just sort of power through it and not get bogged down into that. But it's so interesting, the way that he's exploring all of these characters. It's about mental health, it's about capitalism. It's heavy but funny at the same time, and it's covering so many characters. One thing I did really like in the beginning, when everyone is introduced, I guess it is still happening, when everyone's introduced, they are not called by their name. They're called by whatever function they serve. So they have the cop and the real estate agent, stuff like that. But then once you get to know them, then they get a name, which I think is very intentional. Like, these are all strangers, but then by the end they become friends. Oh, there's just so much to talk about this book. If you have a book club, if I make a book club, this book will be on it, because I feel like it's just endlessly discussable. I know that I said that I would film each book in a different spot, but it was too noisy downstairs. Sorry for the background noise in that clip. I have no idea what the neighbors are getting done. There's construction here constantly. How are they not done by now? I am now 2/3 of the way through Anxious People, and it's incredible. It's one of the best written things that I have ever encountered. I had a little bit of a breakdown yesterday because of reading it. I hit a line where one of the characters tells a story about how her husband refused to move the car for 20 minutes. If you've read it, you know. And that got me a little bit. And then right after that, one of the other characters named Julia, who is me, tells one of the other characters, you don't fall in love with a gender, you fall in love with an idiot. And just the truth of that statement hit me so hard. Should I do my whole philosophical rant? Sure, why not? Because I think, like, love is taken so seriously, and like soulmates and are you compatible and stuff, and which is all like fine, but at the end of the day we're all just idiots walking around, and you find another idiot that you can tolerate and then you hang out a bunch. But also, like, I don't know that my partner is an idiot until I love them, and I love them because they're an idiot. Like, I only get to know his idiosyncrasies because, like, we're together all the time, we live together, we know each other more than anyone knows us, and I don't know, it's really special. It's special to love an idiot. So yeah, I had a little breakdown about that and just like cried for 20 minutes. But the rest of the book is incredible. It's shifted a bit more now to focusing on the hostages and like what's happening inside of the apartment while the stuff is going down. It turned into a story about a rabbit. You know how I said it? It's a story about a bank robbery and then about a hostage. Then it was a story about a rabbit, which was something. If this book keeps going the way that it's going, this will be my favorite book of 2021. There is no doubt in my mind that it can do it. It just is everything that you want in a book. It's serious, it's heartfelt, it's intelligent, it's funny, it's got this incredible cast of characters. I'm doing eyeballs and earballs at the same time, and the audiobook narrator is incredible. She's doing these accents for everybody that are so good and so distinct, and like there's a lot of characters that say sarcastic things, and that doesn't necessarily come off on the page, like the humor of it. There was also one character in it who talked like this the whole time, and like you don't get that if you're just reading a book on a page. There is no way these aren't all going to be 5 stars, which is incredible. Prior to this, I had read 4 of my 5-star predictions, and I think only one of them ended up being 5 stars. One of them ended up being a 2-star. This book has just turned me into a wreck of emotions. And I said with Neverworld, like, it can't be my favorite if I don't cry. And I've already cried multiple times from this book. So it is probably even better than Neverworld. What is my life? Hi. Yeah? You want to read again? Yes, it's See it? No? Maybe? If this starts becoming an everyday thing, I will be very pleased. It's so cute. I sat down and he immediately jumped up. Yeah, you. Yeah. Oh wow, I actually look okay. That's shocking because I've been crying pretty much consistently for the last half hour. I'm 84% done, but I have a feeling it's going to be a challenging final 16%. Any scene that happens in the closet with the women is, I just cry the whole time. It's really special. Oh yeah, it's much worse now. I finished it and I cried quite a bit. That is the best book that I've ever read. It's a book that just like makes you emotional, you know? Like I'm not happy or sad. I'm just emotional. Or like even funny things you cry at. Is that a normal thing to say? Maybe it's just about the human condition. And in my case, the human condition is crying frequently. It was tough. It was tough to get through. There's a lot of stuff covered. Think of a sad thing, it probably happened in this book, but you come away with a very hopeful message. This book is like, I can't even talk. This book is what being human is all about. It's what being alive is all about. And it's a lot. There's nothing I could say that could do this book justice. Because I don't know, I could read you quotes when I highlighted everything in the damn book, but I don't think it would give the same impact. This is a story about a bank robbery, an apartment viewing, and a hostage drama. But even more, it's a story about idiots, but perhaps not only that. This is such an incredible cast of characters. They're all absurd. Like, you know that these can't be real people, but they feel like real people. Wow, that was a rough one. Okay. And I can't even talk about it because, like I said earlier, this is something that needs book club discussion. Like, there's no way you can cover everything that's handled in here. This feels like something I could read every year and get something new out of. Where every character is in their life, I feel like everyone will pick someone to relate to. There was a reason this book is extremely hyped. I wanted to mention, so this was up for the Goodreads choice last year for fiction, and it lost to The Midnight Library by 5 votes. 5! I've never seen, like, none of the other races came that close. Having read both, this is infinitely superior. This is the feeling I wanted from The Midnight Library. This is the feeling I want from every book, but I can't because I'd just be sobbing constantly, more so than I already am. Okay, I am a relatively normal person again, so let's wrap this thing up. I read 3 books. All of them are 5 stars and got progressively better. For Your Own Good was solid, a mystery with some intrigue, well written, and really fun. Neverworld Awake was a smorgasbord of sci-fi concepts that I really, really enjoyed. I would love to see an adaptation of it too. I think that'd be really cool. And then Anxious People is my favorite book. I think I'm stressed saying it, what a successful video. Maybe not from your perspective. I don't know how much you wanted to see this, but that's what you get. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.